What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here. Today we're looking at the brand new Cream the Rabbit and Infinite action figures from Wave 13 by Jakks. So I think I talked about these figures in the beginning of March. These figures were revealed out of nowhere, really. It was very unexpected, but now they are officially out and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I almost forgot about this wave, but they are officially here, so let's take a look at their packaging. So we're going to start off with Cream really fast. So Cream is actually going to come with a ice cream cone right here, as you can see. Packaging the same way. We got our warnings down here, Sonic the Hedgehog, Jakks specific, and then here is Infinite, which he just comes with the Phantom Ruby. And then turning them around, here is Cream. She gets 12 points of articulation. There is a bar right there. If you guys want to pause and read, you can. But it does show like the movement of the figure and then all the other figures in the set. And then get some more information at the bottom. And then for Infinite, same thing. He gets 12 points of articulation. There is a bar read up there. And then we do get the other figures again in the set. And then the rest of the bottom. So yeah, that is their packaging right there, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack these figures out of the packaging and take a closer look. Alright, so the first figure we'll be looking at is Cream the Rabbit. Now this is a figure that a lot of people were really excited about, and it's mainly because not only was she like just a missing member of Team Rose, but also because she hasn't gotten an action figure in a very long time. And I gotta say, this looks so much better than when I first seen it before. I remember talking about like the eyes were like a bit too small, I believe, but they actually look a whole lot better. They're not like too like derpy looking as they looked before. They actually look so much better in hand, and the paint, it's okay in some areas. Now this is really just my figure, but you can see like to her head there is like a black spot. You know, I don't know where that came from, but in some parts of the figure, like where the lashes or somewhere around yeah, like right here where the orange is kind of going up to the eyelash. This is really just my figure. I'm sure yours was probably going to be a little bit better than this, but I do have some bad like paint smudges to the face, but everywhere else is pretty good. You know, the shoes, the dress, you know, the white collar, and then the tie right here, everything is actually okay. Her ears I would definitely be careful with because there's no articulation with this. It's really it's a little soft, but I would definitely be careful. You don't want to like snap this off. So there's no articulation with the ears. You got her tail right here, which is pretty nice, and then you know, her short legs, because she is a short character, but also a short figure. She's very short, which we will do some comparisons later on. But I gotta say, man, a character that I'm not like, you know, crazy about, I will say this is a really good Cream the Rabbit figure. Looks exactly like Cream. Love the expression they gave her. The hands, like I showed off with the accessory, she has an open hand to hold on to her ice cream right here. There you go. Yeah, it's really good. So you can have that. I don't know why, oops, I don't know why she comes with an ice cream. There might be a reference I'm missing here, but again, I'm not that big familiar with this character as much as I am when it comes to, I don't know, I only know her mainly just from like Sonic Advance or Heroes. That's probably about it. Now for the articulation, let's actually go over that really fast. So the head, you can swivel. You will have to maneuver the ears a little bit so they don't like, you know, hit the you know, the arms. But you do get a swivel with the head, and that's about it. Arms, of course, go back and forth. She does have a hinge to the shoulder, which is really good. Arms and the feet really just on a ball peg, so they, you know, they got like a wiggle there, but you can swivel that. Now the legs, not so much because of the dress. You're not going to get a lot of movement here. So I can have her kick forward about here, but again the dress is going to hinder that, and have her kick back, you know, about there. Just basically just to where the dress is, you know. And the dress is like a hard plastic. It's not like rubber or anything or soft. It is really a hard plastic. Single jointed knees. It's alright. You can get much about there. And then, you know, of course you can swivel the leg, but the feet, there's a swivel there, and then, you know, you kind of get like some wiggle there because it is just a ball peg really. But yeah, that's pretty. Oh, you know what? Almost forgot, because of how small her tail is. I almost forgot you actually can rotate the tail. I mean, there's really no point of doing that, but there is like a swivel there for the tail. It's a little hard to see because of how big my fingers are and how small this is, but I am rotating this tail. I am rotating it. It's just a little hard to maneuver of how big my fingers are to do that. But yeah, that is the articulation for Cream. Not much, you know, like I said, it's a pretty small figure. So the first comparison, of course, we got to do is Team Rose. So here's Amy, and then here is Big the cat. Let me actually get them centered right here. But here's how Cream looks with Amy and Big. It looks a little weird because I forgot Amy is tall. Like, they did make Amy a bit too tall, but you can see where she scales with these guys. I think it still works, at least for Big wise, right? I think for Big, this is probably, I think this is probably where Cream would scale, right? I think this is okay. For Amy, I think Amy would be a little bit shorter. I know they made her a bit too tall, you can see, but this is what you're gonna work with as of right now. So yeah, I like that. Now let's compare it with some other figures. So I have Sonic and Tails right here. So here's how she scales with them. Sonic's not going to be able to stand right here, but yeah, here's Amy with Tails and Sonic, so you can see how that looks. So yeah, and oh, I almost forgot, we got to compare her with some chows. So if you want to do something with like her and Cheese, if you want to use the Jakks chow, or maybe the Tomy one, whichever one's going to work for you, you got this as a comparison. So there you go. Now this does suck. I wish she had elbow joints so I was able to have her like hold on to the chow, you know, try to make it look like she's like hugging onto it, but since she doesn't have elbow joints, it's gonna be a bit tough to try to get her to hold the chow. I guess like maybe if I use this and have her hold on to the arm, that seems to be an issue. This is way too big to try to fit. So I'm sure you can probably get it done, you know. I think maybe this chow is probably better. It seems like it scales a little bit better for Cream, but I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. It's whatever you want to use. If you want to customize one of these to make a Cheese figure, which I'm surprised she didn't come with one. But you know, if you want to have her with like a Cheese figure, or how she looks with like a chow, this is your best bet right here. So yeah, I think it still works, you know. Just add a little bow tie to one of these guys and I think you're good right there. But yeah, that is the Cream the Rabbit figure. Alright, and finally the next figure we'll be looking at is Infinite. Now, one thing I've always liked about Infinite was his character design. The design of this guy was just always so cool to me. I always thought it just looked really good, and having it here in action figure form just looks outstanding. Like, I think Jakks Specific definitely nailed it on this guy. Really good job on the entire head sculpt, by the way. Like the way how the mask is, and like where the hair is kind of just flowing out of it, and along with the tail, you can even see like the paint for like some fur behind him. The sculpt overall in this guy just looks really good. The gloves right here, they even have it to where it looks like he does have like the claws, as he does have. Just looks so cool. You got the Phantom Ruby on his chest right here. I believe that's still part of the Phantom Ruby on his chest. But the shoes is really good too. What's really cool is that the design of his shoes, they do have the Infinity like design right here, or I guess you can just say Infinite's logo. But they do have that really nice detail right there that they added. I actually forgot to show off Cream's. But Cream has detail at the bottom for her shoes as well, so you can kind of see that. But that is really cool, really cool. The white here on these shoes, they are just sculpted on. Really nice, man. I love this a whole lot. The lightning bolt design on the mask right here, the swirls for the ears, kind of like the crack to kind of like reveal the eye. I think that's what it's supposed to be. But I think overall the mask sculpt looks really good. I think they did really good on this Infinite figure. And I think that's why I'm such a huge fan of like their villain figures, because they always do such a really good job with like the villains and or like even the Eggman robots. But I gotta say, this Infinite figure, they definitely delivered. This guy looks so cool. It makes me even more excited for any villains they do, you know. I don't know, like you know, like maybe the Deadly Six from Sonic Lost World, or Mephiles from Sonic 06, Sage, you know, from Sonic Frontiers. Definitely excited to what other villains they're gonna do, because they do a really good job with the villains overall. And for Infinite, that has like a crazy design like this, the way how they did all of this for just $10, this is amazing. Really great action figure of Infinite. I think they definitely did a really good job with that. Now let's go over the articulation really fast. So the head, you will have to put the tail down, because the hair, you know, if you have the tail up a little bit, you know, obviously it's gonna get in the way of that. But the head, you can actually turn, so just make sure you have the tail down, or like the arms down, if you want to have them turn the head all the way around. Mine is a little loose. It is a little loose, but it's not loose enough to where it's gonna like turn on its own. But you can turn at the head. Arms, full rotation there. Hinge to the shoulder, really nice. You get a swivel to the wrist. And then for the hips, he can kick forward about here, and then back. I mean, maybe if you move the tail just a little bit, if I just turn it here, but he can kick back about there, which is nice. You do get your single jointed knees right there, and then of course your swivel, you know, to your foot right there, and then you can swivel the leg if you want to do that as well. And then the tail, you can, it's really, you know, the tail is really just a ball peg, so you can really just kind of like move it around. You know, you kind of like wiggle it around, but you can also kind of like turn it as well. It's a little hard to do because of the hair sculpt right here, so it's not a lot of movement you can do with the tail. I usually just have it to the side, because having it up is gonna get in the way, so I would just have it to the side. But that is really the articulation for Infinite right there. Now, like I was saying, like, you know, I was kind of gushing all over the figure of how good it is, but there is a huge problem with this figure that I don't like, and that is this guy is very top heavy. I can't get any posing with this guy, except for when I first started the review. You see me put him, like, have him in a pose like this. That was probably the only pose I can get him in, because I have to like maneuver the head, the tail, the feet, have his arms forward. I can't get this guy in any crazy poses. I wasn't even going to pose him on the ground. I was probably just going to have him on like a stand and just kind of like clamp him in the air to make it look like he's, you know, like floating. If I want to do a pose, something like this, you know, have him in the air. But trying to pose him on the ground is a problem. And the hair, this is all like a hard plastic. I think for Cream, where this was like a hollow plastic, would have been a little bit better. Maybe they could have shrunk the head, make this a hollow plastic. Maybe that would have worked a little bit better. But there is literally nothing I can do to get this guy to stand at all. Put the head here, he falls back. You know, you got to maneuver what you got to do. And the feet is also an issue, because the feet, it curves up, so you're not going to have a lot of space to have him, like, it's not going to, it just doesn't make it better to have him on, like, have his feet on the ground, since they're not completely flat. So that doesn't do anything. So having to get this guy to stand is going to be an issue. He does have peg holes, so if you have like a stand, that could probably work. But a lot of my other figures, their peg holes are really big, whether it's like Hasbro or Mattel. Actually, hold on. Maybe this could probably work. Maybe I can probably try this. Nah, this isn't gonna work. And this is a Jakks specific stand. This was from the Apex Legends figure, so that doesn't even work. So I gotta find a stand for this guy, because I can't really get this guy to stand at all. So that's probably the only downside about this figure. It looks really good, but you're not gonna get a lot of posing with this guy without him falling back. It would have been a lot better if the tail was maybe a little bit lower, and you can have it like have him positioned to like have him like basically like help him up to have him stand, kind of like Tails. You know, like Tails, you were able to put the tails down and it was gonna able to have him stand up, but this tail doesn't go that low. It's only right here, you can see. Maybe if it wasn't like bent like this, if it was a little bit longer and you were able to have him stand up. But yeah, you're not really gonna do much with this Infinite figure, so that's the only downside. I mean, well, I think elbow joints would have been nice too, because he does usually fold his arms a lot. I know he usually does that a lot in the game, where he'll have his arms folded, like, you know, he'll cross his arms. You're not really gonna be able to do that. So those are probably my gripes with this figure. It looks really good, you know, but those are probably my biggest issues. Another big issue I have here is the Phantom Ruby. Now the Phantom Ruby looks nice, but it is way oversized. It looks ridiculous. Like, I'll try to find images of him holding it, because I don't remember it ever being that massive. I thought for sure he was able to like hold it to his fingertips, or maybe it was like the exact size as their hands. Okay, so let me actually get him something to hold him up while I do this figure comparison. So let me just center that right there. And actually, you know what? She's right here. Let's compare him with Cream. So you can see he definitely towers over Cream. So you can see how that looks. Alright. Here he is with Sonic and Shadow. And I don't know if they're all supposed to be the same height. It may look like he's taller just because of the head shape, like the ears, of how high they are. Oops. But I'm pretty sure they're all supposed to be like the same height. I don't know. I could be wrong, but this is how they all scale right here. All right. Here he is with Dr. Eggman. And then let's actually add in a bigger figure, but here he is with like Omega. So there you go. And then let's actually add him in. It's so annoying because I have to keep adjusting this just to have him stand. But let's add in some villains. So here he is with Metal Sonic. And then Chaos. Right here. So yeah, I like this. It's actually cool having these two next to Infinite, because they were also in Sonic Forces. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up this review on the Cream and Infinite figures from Wave 13 by Jakks Pacific. I think these figures are actually pretty great. I wasn't as hype about this wave compared to the last one, but I will say these figures definitely did impress me quite a bit. And these characters haven't had an action figure in a really long time, so it's really cool to see Jakks Pacific bring them here into the line. I think both of them look fantastic. Again, it does suck that Infinite isn't able to stand that well, and also that they both don't have any elbow joints, but man, the sculpt work on these two is phenomenal. So I definitely recommend them, especially since it might be a while until these guys get new figures or possibly a re-release. But if you guys want to pick this up, these are hidden retail such as Target and Walmart. But that is going to do it for this review. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the review, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next video. Take care, my friends.